Welcome to Steadfast Skill Assessment Academy. In this video, we'll cover important electrician questions and answers to help you ace your skill assessment. How do you identify electrical hazards on a worksite? I identify hazards by performing a thorough inspection of the worksite, checking for exposed wiring, damaged equipment, and incorrect installation. I also assess environmental conditions like wet surfaces. Any identified risks are marked for immediate action. What steps do you take to minimize electrical hazards during installation? I ensure all tools and equipment are in good condition and follow the installation plan precisely. I double check connections, ensure proper grounding, and use PPE like insulated gloves. Additionally, I de energize circuits when necessary to reduce risk. How do you ensure the safety of workers when working in high voltage areas? I ensure workers are properly trained and wear the correct PPE, such as rubber gloves and insulated boots. I also establish a safety perimeter around high voltage areas, use lockout tagout procedures, and provide clear communication to prevent accidents. What are the potential hazards of working with live wires and how do you mitigate them? The primary hazards are electric shock, burns, and fires. To mitigate these, I use insulated tools, wear proper PPE, and avoid working on live circuits unless absolutely necessary. I also verify power is turned off before beginning any work. How do you assess and manage the risks of working in confined spaces? I conduct a risk assessment before entering confined spaces, checking for ventilation and possible hazards like toxic gases. I ensure all safety protocols are in place, including monitoring the air quality and using appropriate PPE. A safety observer is always present. What precautions do you take when working around flammable materials? I ensure all electrical equipment is properly grounded and free from faults. I avoid using tools that might create sparks and maintain proper ventilation. Additionally, I keep fire extinguishers readily available and follow all safety guidelines for working in hazardous environments. What is lockout tagout and what is the procedure? Lockout tagout is a safety process to ensure electrical equipment is de energized during maintenance or repairs. First, I isolate the power by turning off breakers or switches and apply a lock to prevent re energizing. Then, I attach a tag indicating the work being done and who is responsible. Before starting, I verify with the tester that no power remains in the system. How do you handle the risk of electric shock when working in wet or damp environments? I turn off power sources and ensure the area is dry before starting work. I use insulated tools, wear rubber gloves and boots, and ensure proper grounding of all electrical systems. I also make sure to test all equipment for proper functionality before use. How do you assess the condition of electrical equipment to prevent fire hazards? I inspect the equipment for signs of wear, overheat, towing, or corrosion. I check cables and connections for any signs of damage and ensure all safety features like circuit breakers are functioning. Regular maintenance helps identify potential fire risks before they escalate. What safety measures do you take to avoid arc flash incidents? I wear flame resistant PPE and use tools rated for arc flash protection. I conduct proper lockout tagout procedures to de energize equipment before working on it. I also ensure that all workers are trained in arc flash safety and follow established work procedures. How do you manage electrical hazards in high temperature environments? I use heat resistant cables and components that are rated for high temperatures. I ensure proper ventilation and cooling systems are in place to prevent overheating. PPE like heat resistant gloves and clothing are worn to protect against burns. What measures do you take to prevent electric shock when working with exposed wiring? I de energize the system, cover exposed wires with insulating materials, and use insulated tools. PPE like rubber gloves and boots are worn, and safety barriers are used to prevent accidental contact. I also verify that all connections are secure before proceeding. How do you maintain safety while working at height with electrical systems? I use fall protection systems such as harnesses and secure ladders when working at height. I ensure tools and equipment are properly secured to avoid accidents. Additionally, I perform a safety check on the area and maintain constant communication with the team. What personal protective equipment PPE do you wear to minimize electrical hazards? I wear rubber gloves, insulated boots, safety glasses, and a flame resistant suit when necessary. A hard hat is worn for protection against falling objects. Depending on the task, additional PPE such as face shields or ear protection may also be required. How do you deal with malfunctioning electrical safety equipment such as circuit breakers or RCDs? I inspect the equipment for damage or wear and test its functionality. If malfunctioning, I replace it with a new unit that meets the required standards. I ensure the system is de-energized before making any repairs to avoid electric shock. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.